Welcome back to NFL Live. Let's get Adam Schefter in here for some top stories. Adam, start us off. The Super Bowl champs have a new cornerback?
Well, Dan, the Seattle Seahawks have reached agreement with former Cowboys two-time Pro Bowl cornerback Trevon Diggs on a one-year deal. He worked out for the team yesterday. He reached that agreement with them this morning. Seattle had been looking for some cornerback depth, and it finds it. And it's looking for depth in part because of Terrion Arnold. He's going to be placed on the commissioner's exempt list. He's going to miss some time. They still need help at the position. Arnold could be back this season, but it won't be early on, and so that is why they went after Diggs today. Meanwhile, the Los Angeles Chargers lost their starting center, Tyler Biadasz, on this play yesterday during a joint practice versus the 49ers. He's got damage to his ACL. He's got other damage in his left knee. He's still being evaluated by other doctors to determine exactly how long he'll be out, but it'll be for an extended period, as is the case with the Houston Texans wide receiver Jaden Higgins, who suffered a torn ACL during practice on Tuesday. D'Amico Ryans said they were evaluating him for a leg injury. It turned out to be the worst case. His season is over. A torn ACL for the young second-year wide receiver who was poised to be Houston's number 2 wide receiver, and that leaves the Texans one man short at that spot. They may have to make a move here to shore up that position.
No question. Lewis, the Houston Texans had high hopes for Higgins in his second season. What do you think of what they have left over for C.J. Stroud in that wide receiver room?
Well, I mean, what it means now is like Nico Collins has to stay healthy, man. I mean, he's always been wide receiver 1 on this football team anyway, but it makes it critical. Absolutely stay healthy on the outside. They still have Xavier Hutchinson, who's on the roster, who has the same kind of physical profile as far as being those, big 6'2", 6'3", like Nico, X type of receivers that can win on the outside. They still have Jalen Noel, who also came in last year along with Jaden Higgins. They came in as a tandem from Ohio State, who's more of the slot guy on the inside. You see him there on your screen, number 14, who is just blazing fast, a big time playmaker. It makes the health and the availability of a guy like Tank Dell all the more important as well. But look, this is big. I mean, this is a big deal because Jaden Higgins was tied for the team lead last year in touchdown receptions, third in receptions, third in yards. So it's a big loss, especially when you're looking at just how important it is for C.J. Stroud to have a big-time year here in 2026 as well.
Well, not to just echo what you said, Lewis, about it being a big loss. I think it's going to put more of an emphasis on the offensive line and running the football, because that's the one thing they really couldn't do last year. They couldn't run the football. They waited on Joe Mixon to come back. Joe Mixon never came back. Now they go out, they get David Montgomery. You bring him in. Can he be your every down back? I don't know. We're going to find out how much gas he has left in the tank. But I think to say that the wide receiver core has taken a hit with this Jaden Higgins injury news would be an understatement. We don't know what Tank Dell is going to be. All accounts, he looks pretty good so far. What's he going to be once he gets back to full health? Nico Collins, can he stay healthy all season long? I just think this is going to put more of an emphasis on how they want to run the football, because this cannot just be C.J. Stroud and throw it around. We put a lot of pressure on this young man, and he's got to live up to his home deal because he didn't finish the season off well last year. But they got to run the football to have a more balanced offense.
Heading into year 4, C.J. Stroud really has never had a reliable running game in Houston. Obviously, they hope that they have fixed that this year. On the flip side of those joint practices in Houston are Fernando Mendoza and the Raiders. Mendoza has been going against the Texans' first-team defenses the last couple of days, and he had a lot to say about that experience.
We got so much work, whether it was move the ball, first down, third down, red zone, 2-minute. There were so many situations, and I believe overall it was a positive day. There were plays that I loved and plays that I wish I had back, but in reality, that's a lie. I wish I didn't have them back because it's a growing experience, and it's practice. It's practice, and this is what I love, and it's just a beautiful day to play football here, and I'm so happy of so many things to learn from today.
We need more Fernando Mendoza press conference sound, whether he starts or not. Recent history tells us quarterbacks drafted number 1 usually start in week 1. Look at the last 10 seasons. Quarterbacks that went number 1 overall have started in week 1, going all the way back to 2019. You got to go back to 2018 with Baker Mayfield to find the last one who didn't start in week 1. But on this list, the only one that won their game was Caleb Williams of the Bears. Boog, look, Mendoza sounds fantastic. We love hearing from him and the way he talks. Yeah. But is there anything he can do in these joint practices to change their minds about whether he starts week 1?
No, not at all. There's absolutely nothing he can do. He can continue to give press conferences. We're going to want to hear him talk.
Yes, please.
He sounds like a little kid that just went to the first day of school, and when he comes home, you say, how did school go? And he gives you like 5 minutes worth. Wait till he gets to the 12th grade. He won't be saying anything. But as far as these joint practices are concerned, I'm of the firm belief, just like Tom Brady, rookie quarterbacks should not play at least from the first game. He needs to sit down. He needs to learn. And I think if they're going to follow the Tom Brady method, which by all accounts they are since he's part of the organization, they got Kirk Cousins. Kirk is going to start. Allow Fernando to get his feet wet, be a rookie, understand the processes of being a quarterback in the National Football League before you throw him to the Wolves. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't need to play this season. I'm just saying on September to whatever that is, 12th, 13th, whenever toe meets leather, it needs to be Kirk Cousins who takes the first snap for the Las Vegas Raiders.
And it's a beautiful day to play football. It's a beautiful day to talk about football. How could somebody like that, who has an attitude like that, not rub off on the entire building? Just tremendous to watch. But this is going to be Kirk Cousins' job. That's why they signed him. And he's the perfect guy to learn from, to be around. He knows what Fernando Mendoza is going to need. Mendoza knows that there's no rush to get him out there, unlike those previous 6 #1 overall quarterbacks. And that's the thing that I always find interesting, too. There have been so many of those teams that have said, we're going to take our time. We're not going to start our guy right away. We want to make sure that we don't rush him along. And lo and behold, each of the last 6 quarterbacks selected #1 has started on opening day. The Raiders have said just what these other teams have said initially. We're not going to rush him along. Let's see how long they stick to that.
Yeah, we know eventually he's going to have the job, Lewis. He's the #1 overall pick. But whenever that day comes, what does this experience of going against a top-flight defense like the Texans do for a guy like that?
Look, everybody talks about in the NFL how the speed of the game changes when you get to this level. The speed of the game, throwing windows open and close in a hurry. The pass rush is on you sometimes in under 2.5 seconds. It's like you have no room to breathe. It's just like controlled chaos. Well, that's what he's getting to see with the Houston Texans because they're the very best at it. Look, iron sharpens iron, right? This is what you want. You want to see your young quarterback go up against a defensive line that is going to be touching him in 2.5 seconds or less a lot. The throwing windows are going to open and close in the blink of an eye. His anticipation, his understanding of route progressions, where he needs to go with the football, his mechanics, all of that stuff he's going to have to be super, hyper focused on when you're playing against a team like this. There are no gimmies. There are no, there are no FCS or Division II teams on the schedule when you get to the NFL. And right now he's getting a taste of what it's like to play the best of the best. And that's exactly what you want, though. Because then you get to, look, I truly do believe Fernando looks at this as, look, I want to see how I measure up, man. I want to see if I've got it against these guys who are the baddest cats in the league. That's what you want. You want someone who runs towards that, not runs away from it.
Texans, the only team last year that had multiple players with at least 12 sacks. That is a real, legit, serious